Chapter 156 Entering School and Taking Measurements. Huo Yuao nodded and relaxed. He had already made up his mind. If they wouldn't let him stay low profile, then he was going to let them see true brilliance. The golden light in his eyes faded away. After a detailed analysis of the soul physique measuring scale from up close, Huo Yuao had managed to record its entire structure in his head, including the development of its formation arrays. Huo Yuao had already started to absorb the spiritual power in the Skydream Iceworm's second seal as his cultivation increased. Even Elderson wasn't aware of this information, but Huo Yuao's spiritual detection not only could improve in the range of its detection, it could also improve in its intensity. With his current cultivation, he could memorize the structure and formation arrays of a Class 6 soul tool not in use with his spiritual detection. This was his lethal weapon in coming to the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. These records would be very important for future development of Shrek's soul tool department. This soul physique measuring scale was his first target for today. Huo Yuao was certain that the soul physique measuring scale was a Class 6 soul tool through his detection and observation of its formation arrays. He didn't find any problems, and he had completely recorded the information on this soul physique measuring scale. As he stepped up to the soul physique measuring scale, he completed his record of its formation arrays. However, the amount of complicated information was too great to be memorized in the long term. Huo Yuao could at best commit it to memory for 2 hours before he'd forget it, so he had to draw what he could recall as soon as possible, or cement his memory even further. Huo Yuao's spiritual power was depleted by almost 10% just like that. The white light from the soul physique measuring scale lit up, scanned him from the top down. Huo Yuao squinted as he retracted his spiritual power. Physical strength, rank 62. Physical tenacity, rank 68. Soul power undulation, rank 40. Height, 1.80 meters. Weight, 74 kilograms. Left arm length. Age, 14. Added left and right arm bones. Final evaluation. The series of numbers in front of them left everyone around shocked. The entire measurement room was in pin-drop silence. Even though K2 was evaluated to be a soul king based on the statistics that popped out, everyone was stunned to see Huo Yuao's age and rank 40 soul power. What did his rank 40 soul power signify? It meant that he had yet to become a 4-ring soul ancestor. That being the case, then Huo Yuao must be a soul elder. But he was a soul elder that had obtained over rank 60 in more than one measurement. Besides lagging behind K2 in physical strength, he matched him in others. Most importantly, he had 3 soul bones, which was more than K2. Beep, 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 beep. Weird sounds came from the soul physique measuring scale. The teacher in charge of recording results was stunned. He said, "The numbers are a mess. The soul physique measuring scale has malfunctioned. Monster, this guy's a monster." When he looked at Huo Yuao again, his eyes even showed traces of shock and fear. Huo Yuao scanned him calmly. He stepped off the soul physique measuring scale and said gently, "I'm from Shrek Academy. The academy has another name, Monster Academy. Our school motto is, we only nurture monsters, not ordinary people. Thanks for your compliment." Yi Xiaoshan was shocked as he looked at Huo Yuao returning to Ikedu's side. He couldn't help but mutter to himself, there should be another measurement, for arrogance. Lin Jie swallowed and looked at Huo Yuao, astonished. He didn't know what to say. He'd seen many talented students in his role as the continent's top soul engineering academy's teaching director, but he had to admit that Huo Yuao had one of the most abnormal body conditions he'd ever seen. Xiao Hingchen and Meng Hingchen couldn't even compare to him. When they were his age, both Xiao Hingchen and Meng Hingchen had better soul power ranks. However, their physical strengths paled in comparison. Fortunately, Huo Yuao's soul power wasn't very great. It might have been shocking to see a soul king at age 14. Lin Jie tried to keep himself composed. He nodded at Huo Yuao and smiled. "Little fellow, your body is quite strong indeed. No wonder you're in Shrek Academy." He complimented. Before this, Huo Yuao didn't catch his attention. He caught a glimpse of Huo Yuao's Class 3 soul engineer badge and sighed in relief. At least Huo Yuao's soul engineer class was normal. Lin Jie said, "All right, we still have 2 more tests to do. We don't have much time left, so let's move it along. Allow me to introduce the subject of the second test. This test will measure your strength. You can't use soul tools for the test, but you can use soul power to boost your strength. Strength is vital to a soul engineer, necessary to control large-sized soul tools. The soul strength measuring scale. It was larger than the soul physique measuring scale, taking up around 10% of the room. There was a striking point covered in leather within the soul strength measuring scale. This striking point was a square meter in size. No one from Shrek Academy knew what this soul tool was made of. The strength test was very simple. One just needed to hit the striking point with all their might. Evaluations were determined in terms of soul power rank, in line with the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy's evaluating standards. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Bell boom sounded repeatedly. These Shrek Academy students didn't excel in this test. After all, they were from the soul tool department and were more focused on increasing their soul powers. Even their soul rings were focused on increasing their soul powers. None of them were evaluated above rank 60 in this test, including Yi Xiaoshang. It was Ikedu's turn again. Ikedu and Huo Yuao looked at each other. They didn't need use words to understand what the other was thinking. Ikedu walked up to the soul strength measuring scale and took in a deep breath. He compared the size of his fist to the striking point. Just as everyone thought he would punch the striking point, he suddenly shouted, "I have a large cigar." Bam. Yi Xiaoshan slipped and fell to the floor. His head even hit the side of the soul strength measuring scale. Everyone stiffened up suddenly as they saw Ikedu holding his large cigar. He stuffed the cigar in his mouth and lit it with a speck of flame before taking in a deep breath. Strength amplifying large cigar. This was Ikedu's second soul skill. "Student, you can't smoke in the academy." As a teacher tried to warn him, Ikedu's eyes shot open. He brought his left foot forward and punched out with his right fist, striking the soul strength measuring scale before him. Bang! A huge tremor spread. The entire room seemed to shake because of his fist. The numbers on the soul strength measuring scale quickly changed, and the scale even shifted more than 3 inches from its original position. Strength, rank 70. The teacher that was in charge of recording muttered the staggering number out. It was pertinent to note that this soul strength measuring scale could only record soul power up to rank 70. This rank 70 limit was set using a strength type soul master as a benchmark. Ikedu shook his fist and jumped off of the soul strength measuring scale leisurely. He took out the cigar from his mouth and breathed out a swirl of smoke. He spoke to the teacher that warned him. "Sorry, didn't mean to violate academy regulations on purpose. I'm a food type soul master. The cigar is my martial soul. Teacher, do you want to try my large cigar? How about my thick cigar?" He stretched his waist as he spoke. The teacher quickly rejected him. He was still completely stunned by Ikedu's strength. To teaching director Lin Jie's knowledge, no one else in the room but him could reach the limit on the soul measuring scale. Ikedu's strength was comparable to a soul beast's. At rank 50 soul power he could actually unleash such a powerful force, whereas even an assault type soul king with many enhancements from soul skills might not be able to reach such force. Huo Yuao was the last to take the test. He had many things to consider at the moment. Should he go all out? Should he hide his power? This soul strength measuring scale wasn't as thorough as the soul physique measuring scale. With his age, he had no doubt that no one could see through his bluffs if he held back a bit. However, that previous test had revealed some of his figures. If he tried too hard to conceal his strength, he might arouse suspicions. After a moment's thought, Huo Yuao knew what to do. He took a deep breath while he stepped onto the soul strength measuring scale. Huo Yuao lifted his right arm slowly, mimicking the action of hitting the striking point. All the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy teachers focused their attention on him. After all, they'd been shocked by his previous test. Huo Yuao suddenly took in another deep breath. He gave off the impression that he was sucking all the air in the room into his lungs. He made a fist with his right hand and pulled it back a foot before striking out. Thud. Huo Yuao's strike was much more underwhelming compared to Ikedu's. The sound it made was also the softest among the 10 students present. Strength, rank 55. The teacher in charge of recording their results shouted another shocking number once again. Huo Yuao was only average amongst the 10 students despite his rank of 55. However, as he was only 14 years old, this was actually an extraordinary result. Furthermore, he released his strength using a different method than the others. He'd managed to unleash such a powerful force even though he was only a foot away. His strike hadn't made much sound, which further demonstrated his technique. He hadn't wasted any strength at all. Huo Yuao hadn't used any soul skills to enhance his body either. The only thing he'd relied on was his own personal strength and a little of the Tang Sect's controlling crane capturing dragon. He was quite satisfied with his strength evaluation. It was neither too high nor too low. With this, he passed the test without drawing too much attention to himself. If he'd used the Ice Empress pincer and mysterious jade hands, the result would have been completely different. After the strength test ended, everyone proceeded to the last segment. This time, it was a reaction speed test. The measuring scale was much smaller this time. It was a squarish platform that held 16 boxes, each of which were the size of a fist. These boxes would light up at random, after which one was supposed to slap the lit boxes in order to deactivate them. The test would end when one box was missed. This test had nothing to do with one's abilities. It was a simple test of one's reaction speed and the coordination between one's mind and body. Yi Xiaoshan didn't act as arrogant as he had before when they arrived. The two tests that they'd just taken had revealed how inferior he was to Hikato. The only lead he had was his soul rank. Although he didn't think that he'd lost face, he still felt a bit awkward. The last test was like a game. In the beginning, Yi Xiaoshan wasn't very bothered by the test, and even became slightly complacent. However, he paid the price for his complacency very quickly. When the test started, the boxes only lit up one by one and remained lit for around a third of a second. If one hit the boxes before the time was up, they'd pass and the test would continue. Yi Xiaoshan managed to breeze through the test while the boxes lit up one by one. However, a pair of boxes lit up after a while, which temporarily stunned Yi Xiaoshan. He managed to hit one of them, but he was slightly too slow to reach the other. With this, his test was over. Reaction, slow. When the teacher in charge of recording the results gave him this evaluation, Yi Xiaoshan felt like hiding himself in a hole. The rest of the students learned from Yi Xiaoshan's mistake and were much more cautious. Even though they were all in courtyard disciples from the Soul Tool department, they had still once been part of the martial soul department. Shrek Academy often trains the reactive abilities of their students, thus they weren't too bad at it. When Hikato's turn came, he fully demonstrated his great reaction speed and managed to survive for 5 full minutes. It was only when 8 boxes lit up at the same time that he couldn't react in time. Huo Yuao was the last to take the test. He was rather curious about how the test functioned. However, he found it difficult to focus. While the others had been taking the test, he'd attempted to memorize the structure and formation arrays of the 3 measuring scales using his spiritual power, which had depleted him greatly. This caused him to be eliminated rather quickly. He only managed to reach 6 boxes, thus his reaction speed was evaluated as average. All right, the tests will end here. The teachers will bring you all to your dormitory in a little while. The academy has arranged a single room along with a washroom for each of you. I hope that all of you like this place for the next 2.5 years. Your uniforms will also be delivered tomorrow. The dorm area was located behind the teaching area and was much larger than Shrek Academy's. The map clearly detailed the various amenities in this area. Huo Yuao was extremely interested in a place called the auxiliary cultivation room. However, it looked like an exorbitant fee had to be paid in order to use it. They were all allocated rooms on the top floor of the 6th grade dormitory region. The floor was rather quiet, and just like Lin Jie had mentioned, they'd each been allocated a 20 square meter dorm room equipped with a washroom. Even though their rooms weren't luxurious, they were still neat and tidy, and were better than the dorm rooms at Shrek Academy. However, Huo Yuao had no energy to deal with any of this right now. The moment he entered his room, he quickly locked his door and walked to one side. A golden light flashed from his forehead, and his third eye slowly opened. He shut his other 2 eyes, then solely used his eye of destiny to observe the world around him. He unleashed his spiritual detection, which reached a nuanced state under the influence of the eye of destiny. Even the smallest dust mite wouldn't escape his detection. The entire process lasted for about a minute. When his eye of destiny finally shut, Huo Yuao couldn't help but nod his head in satisfaction. The Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy hadn't installed any monitoring devices in their rooms, which could be considered quite magnanimous. He didn't dare to delay any longer, and quickly sat in front of a table in the room. He retrieved a paper and pen from his storage type soul tool and then started to record the details of the 3 soul tools that he'd seen. This was Huo Yuao's huge responsibility. He was aware that by recording the structure and formation array of every single soul tool that he saw, he was helping Shrek Academy improve. The structure of a soul tool was rather complex, hence he couldn't make any mistakes in his recording. The soul physique measuring had been the most advanced of the 3 soul tools that he'd seen today, followed by the soul strength measuring scale. They were class 6 and class 5 soul tools respectively. The last soul tool had only been class 4 and was much simpler than the other 2. Their complex structures and formation arrays were slowly recorded by Huo Yuao. He took 2 hours to record everything, and even included his own evaluation of the 3 soul tools. Huo Yuao also managed to develop a deeper understanding of them as he recorded their structures and formation arrays. He sighed when he realized that they weren't even the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy's greatest works. However, he could already sense the enormous gap between Shrek Academy and the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. Despite the deeper understanding he'd gleaned from them, Huo Yuao could barely understand a third of the 3 soul tools he just recorded. Yet, according to Shrek's standard, he was already at the level of a class 6 soul engineer. Despite his large quantity of spiritual power, he was still fatigued once he'd finished writing. Thus he went to his bed to meditate. What's the situation like? Jing Hengchen asked Lin Jie. Lin Jie said, the most outstanding of them is Hikato. His strength has reached rank 70. Furthermore, he stated that he was a food-type soul master, and his martial soul should be a cigar. His body has reached the level of a soul emperor despite him only being a soul king. He ranked first in all 3 tests. What about Huo Yuao? Jing Hengchen asked. Lin Jie answered, he's quite extraordinary. During the physique test, his strength and tenacity were rather outstanding. His reaction speed was normal, however. I observed him carefully, and I don't believe that it was intentional. Furthermore, he actually has 3 soul bones. When our soul physique measuring scale tried to analyze them, the numbers got messed up. I thus suspect that he has an external soul bone. He's not like a soul engineer, but more like a talented soul master. His soul power has reached rank 40, yet he hasn't obtained his 4th soul ring to attain a breakthrough yet. This is also quite suspicious. Jing Hengchen smiled and said, that's normal. Huo Yuao is from Shrek's martial soul department. He's mainly here as collateral. However, we can't underestimate him. After all, he's still Elder Mu's personal disciple. My sources claim that he's an orphan, and that his background is unclear. Continue to observe their movements. During class, try to pay attention to Hikato. I'll send someone else to watch Huo Yuao. Lin Jie asked. Hall master, do we? Jing Hengchen shook his head and said, there's no need to. Just follow the normal procedures. The Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy can't go back on its word. So what if they manage to learn? The gap between our academies in terms of soul tools is simply too great. It can't be closed with just a few exchange students. They won't possibly be able to figure out our core secrets either. More importantly, Shrek is only an academy. However, with a research facility of the Sun Moon Empire, with the dragon god Douluo Mu dead, the continent will belong to the Sun Moon Empire within 20 years. The Douluo continent will be renamed to the Moon continent when that happens. When he reached this point, an excited look flashed through his eyes. Lin Jie acknowledged his words respectfully and then retreated. Jie, wait a minute. Yes? Do you have any other instructions? Lin Jie asked. Jing Hengchen asked, how's the progress on Plan 1? Lin Jie said, it's a little problematic. The main problem lies in the formation arrays. Based on our design, even a titled Douluo runs the risk of having his soul crushed by the intense spiritual shock of the formation arrays. That is, unless we can find a spiritual type titled Douluo to try it, which will give us a 30% chance of success. Whole master. As he reached this point, he seemed a little hesitant to speak. What? Jing Hengchen squinted. What do you want to say? Tell me. Don't tell me that I'll blame you if you tell me what you want to say. Lin Jie replied, yes, Whole master. I've always reckoned that Plan 1 is proceeding too quickly. Even if our research is successful, we won't be able to form a proper military that's big enough. But we have expended a lot of human resources, material resources, and money on Plan 1. I believe that our chances of success will be greater if we lower our standards. After all, forming a large-scale force is scarier than creating a top-ranked military force. Jing Hengchen furrowed his brow and replied, I've never considered that before. However, the chance of success is still very low even if we lower the standards. The key lies in the design of the formation arrays. I've always emphasized high standards because they can be extended to other aspects if they're achieved, which will increase our probability of success in other areas. It seems like we're rushing too much. Pass on my instructions. Allow the class 9 soul engineers to rest for a few days. I must consider the future of Plan 1 before proceeding. anything. Let them work their brains do. Whoever has a good idea must inform me immediately. Lin Jie was delighted when he saw that Jing Hengchen had listened to his advice. Master, you are indeed wise. Jing Hengchen laughed. Why's my foot? I've been under a lot of pressure because of Plan 1, and His Majesty has asked me about it a couple of times. We need to hand something up soon. Otherwise, I believe his patience will become limited. Huo Yuao's 3 eyes opened together, and he watched as the sun rose. He let out a refreshed breath, and a gust of white fog came out from his mouth. It slowly took shape and surrounded his body. As he breathed in again, the fog turned into 2 streaks of white gases that entered into his body through both of his nostrils. The entire room was filled with a clear aura. Although there weren't any plants, there was a strong sense of life. His fatigue ceased to exist after a few hours of meditation. Huo Yuao's improvements in the mysterious heaven technique were slow but steady. He wasn't in a rush to obtain his 4th soul ring. He had enough soul skills, unlike other lower-level soul masters who possessed limited soul skills. His first soul ring had given him 4 useful spiritual-type soul skills. He also had 2 other soul skills from the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion, as well as 5 soul skills from his 4 soul bones. Even a soul sage might not have as many soul skills as he did. If he absorbed another soul ring, he could increase his own power and add another soul skill. Furthermore, he had also realized after he added his 3rd soul ring that his spiritual-type martial soul needed some luck in finding a suitable soul ring. That was why he wasn't rushed at all, and instead calmly focused on increasing his own cultivation. He also aimed to improve his knowledge on soul tools over the next 2.5 years, and enhance his own abilities. In addition, he also aimed to steal the research results of the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. He took in 3 more deep breaths and adjusted his soul power. Huo Yuao felt a warmth coming from his body. He shut his eye of destiny and it disappeared. The light within his spirit eyes also slowly faded away. While he was only 14 years old, when he placed his hands behind his back he already looked very mature. Every dormitory block in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy had its own canteen. The higher the grade, the nicer the food in the canteen of the dormitory block. Huo Yuao and the others stayed in the 6th grade dormitory block, which meant that the food in the canteen there was the best. However, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy couldn't compare to Shrek Academy in terms of its food. Huo Yuao and Hikeitu had been enjoying delicacies in Shrek Academy over the past 2 years. The food here in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy was too plain for their liking. Huo Yuao and Hikeitu met Fandu in the canteen. How are the 2 of you feeling? Fandu wore a slight smile as he looked at the both of them. Hikeitu laughed bitterly. The gap is really huge. Huo Yuao nodded. Fandu smiled and said, we wouldn't be here if there wasn't a gap. Everything here regarding soul engineers is worth learning. I spoke with the Hallmaster of the illustrious Virtue Hall yesterday. They're more sincere than I thought they would be. Just do your best to learn and don't worry about other things. The Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy won't do anything to the both of you before these 2.5 years are up. As for how much you'll learn, that depends on you. Huo Yuao didn't mention the fact that he had recorded the 3 soul tools. There were too many people around, and it was best to be prudent. The Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy's efficiency was indeed great. After they finished their breakfast and returned to their rooms, their uniforms had already been delivered. They were also told to gather at the first level of the 6th grade teaching block. The 6th grade teaching block was not smaller than the 1st grade teaching block that they saw yesterday. However, they knew that there were only a handful of students in the 6th grade. These students were at least class 5 soul engineers. What could they do by occupying 2 huge teaching blocks? The teaching director, Lin Jie, was already waiting here. There were 10 teachers of various ages standing behind him. Students from Shrek, you'll be learning from our teachers from today onwards. I hope that you'll treat this as your room for the next 2.5 years. To facilitate your learning of more advanced soul tool knowledge, your learning arrangements will be as follows. All of you will follow the 10 6th grade teachers who are standing behind me now. They are the most capable teachers in the academy. They're all at least class 7 soul engineers. Each of them is in charge of a few 6th grade students. The 6th grade testing area will be open to all of you. 2. All the materials that you need for experiments will be provided by the academy. Of course, you'll need to pay a certain fee for the materials if you want to bring the soul tools that you've created back with you. However, the experiments will be completely free. In the first month, you'll all be learning here. Once you possess a certain foundation, you'll take a test administered by a teacher from the illustrious Virtue Hall. The results of that test will determine your frequency of participation in the illustrious Virtue Hall's lectures and practicals. The best you can achieve is to enter the illustrious Virtue Hall directly to learn. The worst is that you'll only be able to enter once every 10 days. You'll also be offered the opportunity to take the test again as you learn. As long as the results of your test are satisfactory, your time in the illustrious Virtue Hall will be increased. Principally, the academy doesn't wish for any of you to leave unnecessarily. That's because we can't guarantee your personal safety outside of the academy. As exchange students, we'll be heavily accountable if anything happens to any of you. That's why it's important for you to apply for leave and report to me if you want to leave the academy for leisure purposes. You'll need to sign an indemnity form, too. Basically, that is all. If there are any questions, you can ask your assigned teacher directly, or you can find me. Lin Jie explained the future learning process to Shrek students. Besides the illustrious Virtue Hall's test that caught Huo Yuao's attention, he was also picked that they were all going to be separated. There were 10 teachers standing behind Lin Jie, meaning that each one of them would take one student. To ensure fairness, the teachers will use a lot drawing method to choose which student they'll be guiding. The lot drawing will start now. As he spoke, Lin Jie received a tray from one of the working crew. There were folded pieces of paper on the tray. The 10 teachers streamed towards the tray and each took a piece of paper. The first teacher to draw his lot was the youngest among the 10 teachers. He appeared to be around 30 or so, and was even younger than Fanu. Huo Yuao. He read out the name on his piece of paper. Huo Yuao's brow furrowed a little, but he still walked out quickly. He replied, present. This young teacher looked very cold. After seeing Huo Yuao's class 3 soul engineer badge, he said coldly, follow me. After he finished speaking, he turned around and walked away. He didn't wait for the other teachers. Huo Yuao didn't say anything else, and followed him out. He proceeded to the second teaching block of the 6th grade as he followed this young teacher. He had furrowed his brow earlier because this teacher was too young. He was capable of becoming a class 7 soul engineer even though he was only 30 or so years old. However, he should be placing all his focus and energy on his cultivation and research on soul tools at such an age. Could he teach well? Furthermore, he could sense that this teacher didn't like him. That's because the teacher also furrowed his brow when he saw Huo Yuao. I hope that I can learn something from him. Huo Yuao sighed. He had hoped for an older teacher. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.